3 months ago, I tried one of the hardest warm-up routines in Fortnite, an insane 11-hour program designed by FNCS winner Kyoto. I thought it would transform me into a mechanical demon capable of finally taking down my friend Slope in a 1v1. Instead, I got completely embarrassed. But today I'm back with something even more brutal. With the help of the one and only Destiny's Jesus, I've created the new hardest warm-up routine in Fortnite, a 17-hour program designed to push my mechanics, aim and game sense to their absolute limit. My goal? Place top 10 in a solo tournament, proving that I'm not nearly as bad as Slope made me look. The first of the 3 major weaknesses that DJ told me to work on was to fix my aim, and honestly this has always been my biggest struggle. No matter how fast my mechanics are, it doesn't matter if I can't hit my shots, so fixing my aim was going to make a huge difference in my gameplay. To start, I jumped into 2 hours of Kovacs, the first half of this brutal aim training session. I used Tomas' aim training addendum to create a training plan, starting with a 1-hour tracking routine to refine my mouse control. Now I get it, aim training is extremely boring, but it affects every part of your mechanics. Better mouse control doesn't just help with landing shots, it improves your crosshair placement, consistency and overall gameplay. After an hour I could already feel my mouse control sharpening, so I switched to a click timing routine for the second hour. This would help me improve my trigger discipline, making sure I only shoot when my crosshair is perfectly placed on the target. Along with this, it would also improve my target switching, which means I could flick to different targets faster and hit way more harder shots in real fights. If you're serious about improving, consider checking out Destiny's Jesus Fighting Masterclass. All of the information comes directly from pros, so it's by far the best resource for getting better at Fortnite. Use code SHADOW for 20% off, or click the link in the description to start improving today. After grinding through 2 boring hours of Kovacs, it was time for 2 hours of in-game aim training, using Raiders Mechanics Training V5. Now, if you've ever tried to improve your aim in Fortnite, you know that traditional aim trainers like Kovacs can only take you so far. Fortnite's aiming isn't just about raw precision, it's about bloom control, movement and crosshair placement, things that can't be perfectly replicated in a traditional aim trainer. That's why Raiders map is by far the best way to train your aim inside the game itself. I started with long range tracking drills, which not only sharpen my tracking, but also help me master bloom control, a mechanic that's way more important than most people realise. Here's something that most people don't know: moving forward actually makes bloom worse, meaning your shots are way less accurate, and strafing left or right or standing still can significantly reduce bloom. I also practice tap shooting with weapons like the Hollow Twister AR, and finally, one of the easiest aim hacks in Fortnite: aim for the chest at mid to long range instead of the head. Why? Because the chest is a much bigger hitbox, meaning more bullets will actually hit the character even with bad bloom. Next, I switched things up with some shotgun drills, focusing on crosshair placement and trigger discipline, 2 of the most important mechanics for hitting consistent high damage shots. One of the easiest ways to improve your shotgun aim is to always keep your crosshair at head height. Why? Because it reduces the distance your crosshair has to move when switching targets, making it way easier to land consistent headshots. But raw aim isn't everything. How you move actually affects how much damage your shotgun does. Shotgun pellet spread changes based on movement, so mastering this is crucial for landing high damage shots. Aiming down sights tightens pellet spread massively, but it's not always practical in fights. Crouching when you shoot significantly reduces pellet spread, making it easier to hit max damage shots, and even just standing still when firing helps tighten the spread. To lock in these mechanics, I grinded through every single shotgun drill on Raiders map, drilling them into my muscle memory. For the final stretch of my aim training grind, I focused on close range tracking inside Raiders map. Now, all the bloom mechanics I talked about earlier also apply when hip firing, but there are still key techniques that can help you land more shots. Mirroring your opponent's movement reduces how much you need to adjust your crosshair, making it easier to stay locked onto your target. And getting as close as possible ensures more of your shots land inside the bloom spread, but obviously this comes with risks. You don't want to walk straight into getting one pumped. After grinding through every single close range tracking drill, I had finally completed the brutal 4-hour aim training session, but now I had just one question: did it actually make a difference? To find out, I ran a before and after test using headshot only box fights. Before aim training, I managed to get 22 kills in 10 minutes. After aim training, that number jumped all the way up to 35 kills, and I even won the round overall. So yeah, turns out just 4 hours of aim training can make a huge difference. The second major weakness that DJ wanted me to fix was my mechanics, and since this routine was inspired by the legendary Kyoto routine, I had to include one of its most infamous parts: 4 hours of non-stop freebuilding. Now, freeboarding for 4 hours straight can easily turn into a massive waste of time, especially when fatigue sets in and you start mindlessly cranking. To avoid that, I made sure to follow a structured plan throughout the session to keep myself improving. I started with a warm-up, making sure my fundamentals were perfect. I did double edits all the way to height limit first. After that, I moved on to triple edits since they're one of the most essential mechanics in modern Fortnite. Next, I worked on tarping in every direction. This was something that I had rarely practiced in the past, but it was going to be incredibly important for the tournament at the end of the video. The next part of freeboarding I wanted to work on was my consistency. It's one thing to pull off flashy mechanics once or twice, but being able to do them flawlessly over and over again is what really matters. To train this, I focused on freeboarding for as long as possible without messing up, with the ultimate goal of completing a quad freeboard all the way up to height limit. Now, these moves may not be that impressive on their own, but keeping them going for nearly a minute and 10 seconds straight is way harder than you think. The longer you go, the more fatigue kicks in, and the easier it is to make simple mistakes. After grinding for a while, I finally managed to hit a full freeboard to height limit, and at that point I was pretty happy with my consistency. Next, I wanted to work on my speed, which I could improve using the movement modulators in this map. In my new Nothing But Freeboards map, you can switch to 1.5 times movement speed, which is perfect for refining your timing. The idea is simple: if I can perform my normal mechanics at this increased speed, then switching back to normal speed will make everything feel way easier. This helped me get my double edit speed back to where it used to be, and after switching back to normal speed, I even hit some clean double 9-folds. Once I felt confident in my speed, I shifted my focus to movement. If I could get my movement right, my side jumps would become way more consistent, and I'd be able to take height much faster. I started with basic side jumps, gradually working my way up, because for some reason I'm still super inconsistent with them. Once I had the basics locked in, I moved on to some more protective side jumps, which are way more useful in actual fights. From there, I started combining them with classic high walls to set up some super fast high ground retakes. At this point, I felt like my movement had improved, but I had a problem. I completely underestimated how long 4 hours of freeboarding actually was. Since I had extra time, I decided to learn something new: lazy ramps. They aren't all that useful outside of build fights, but since I had time to spare, I figured it was worth trying. Plus, practicing them helped refine my overall movement, which I was pretty happy about. After that grueling 4-hour freeboarding session, you'd think my mechanics training was finally over. Yeah, not even close. Next up, I had 2 more hours of mechanics training inside Raiders Mechanics Training V5. I started with the edit section, grinding out over 500 edits on each setting within the crosshair placement section. First, I did 500 edits without the moving platform, and then another 500 with it on. It was definitely a boring grind, but it forced me to drill those awkward edits that I always seem to mess up. Once that was done, I went through every other part of the edit section. Most of these drills were relatively simple, but they were still great for refining timing and crosshair placement, which I knew would be crucial in fights. With edits out of the way, I moved on to piece control tunnels. These are perfect for improving speed and efficiency when claiming walls and boxing opponents. I started with peak training turned off, just focusing on clean piece control. Then once I felt comfortable, I turned peak training on, which meant that if the bot could see me, it would instantly deal damage. This forced me to take good peeks every single time, a skill that would definitely come in clutch later. Then came the comp section, where I went through every drill possible. At this point, my hands were completely destroyed, but my mechanics were feeling sharper than ever. The final weakness DJ wanted me to work on ended up being the most important part of this entire routine: in-game fighting. Now, to kick things off, I decided to incorporate one of the most helpful parts of Coyote's routine: 3 hours of reload ranked. Ooh there, buddy! Oh! Next, I focused on getting used to the current meta, as this would actually be my first tournament of the season. And the best way to do that, solo scrims. Now, as you've probably guessed, this didn't go too well. In my first game, I had 0 mats going into the end game, so I just died right away. And in the second game, things started looking better. I had good loot, good positioning, and everything seemed set up for the end game. But then, out of nowhere, this complete idiot griefed me for literally no reason. But joke's on you, CEO the first, because I got him banned from Noble straight afterwards. Anyway, after that, the last game of the 2-hour scrim session ended almost exactly like the first one. I was out of mats and got caught in a bad spot again. At this point, it was clear I needed to work on my endgames. The best way to do that? Cup endgame. This map is perfect for simulating endgame scenarios and really helped me with my rotate. It didn't start that great, but after a while I managed to get the hang of it.
Wow. Let's get out of whites. It's over. GG's. No, I couldn't get up quick enough, man. I'm so bad, man. He's right.
Now, it was finally time for the tournament. You're probably wondering, which solo tournament is this? Well, yeah, you don't need to worry about that. Coming into my first game...
Oh.
No, my second game, I needed to drop a high kill win to get my momentum going. My strategy, land at Shining Span and then just W key everyone.
Get out. Oh my god, let's go. I had to just jump in, I had nothing.
After that 14 kill win, I was sitting just outside the top 100, but in these rank cups, only your best 4 games count, so if I wanted to get that top 10, I would have to stay consistent from here on out.
What are we doing? Bro. I'm just getting pumped by everyone for no reason. Yeah. Ah, dude, that kid was terrible. Wow. That is insane. Double max pool. It's break. Why are you shooting it? Why? Oh my days. This is actually insane. That's 3 max pulls in a row. I've just got to go. Oh my god, every single zone has pulled away from me. This is like I have zone hacks, but I've gone to the opposite side of zone every time. I can't hear anything, bro. Don't shoot me. Who's max again? I couldn't do anything. I got sprayed in the back. I build. How have I been double dinged through my build? There's nothing I can do. GG's, bro. Yeah, GG's. There's absolutely nothing I could have done there.
There you have it, I managed to finish in 6th place overall. This then dropped to 34th once the tournament ended, but considering this was my first tournament of the season, I'd say it wasn't that bad. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.